When you come to think of animals, what comes to mind? We tend to associate animals with two distinct ideas. First, the wild, untamed, natural ones. Second, pets and farm life, animals whose lives are dependent on their owners, who love and look after them or rear them for food. Well, what about animals in the city? These urban creatures almost go unnoticed and take many forms. In this documentary, we are going to find out about animals in London and what positive effects animals have on us and our city.
In London, a city of around 9 million people, there are many animals that share their urban space with us. London is home to around 15,000 species of animals, including foxes, stray dogs, and cats, bees, mice, shrews, insects, badgers, and many more.
Living in the city can be difficult for some animals. They have to survive in unnatural environments full of traffic, noise, air pollution, and more. But animals can adapt to living alongside us. Foxes, which have become resilient in London, they are resourceful and they dig up dens in the ground and explore new territories very quickly.
That's right. Did you know that when the Shard was being built, a fox moved in on the 72nd floor and survived on scraps of food left by the construction workers?
But urban wildlife are not the only animals living in London. In the UK, 62% of us own pets, and in London, 14% of the population own cats and 9% of the population own dogs.
So we set out to find out what our relationship is with animals and how we share the urban spaces with animals. What are the positive impacts of animals living in the city? Do you have a pet?
I do. I have two pets. Here's Raffles and that's Bear.
Well, obviously I do. There's Busy down there, isn't it?
How hard is it looking after your pet?
Well, you know what the hardest thing about having a pet in London is to get your children to walk the dog. But no, it's quite easy having a pet, but you have to give dogs lots of walks.
It's a full-time job, but also the thing you have to do is pick up their poo. And most people don't like doing that. But you feed them twice a day and take them for a walk twice a day, and you take them to the vet as well, so they get jabs to keep them healthy.
What's life like with a pet to you?
It's changed my life. I wouldn't be without a dog now.
Well, it brings lots of pleasure. When you're by yourself, it's very nice when he comes and cuddles up. He gives lots of people lots of pleasure, and they're very good companions.
They keep me very happy, they keep me active. I have to take them for a walk twice a day, and they make me laugh a lot.
What is different about your pet?
Well, I suppose he's a dog, so if somebody else had a cat, then that would be a difference in itself. But he's a very kind dog, actually, and he's quite good looking, I think. Well, I'm very biased, of course, but yeah, everyone seems to like Fizzy.
Bear here is very soft and silly, and he always tries to lick people's faces. And this one here is always plotting to take over the whole world.
What impact do you think the city has on animals around us?
Well, I think you have to think long and hard about having a pet in the city, because you have to be able to look after it, you have to have the time, and you have to be able to exercise it. So, you know, it's not like when you live in the countryside where you have open fields and they can roam, wherever they want to go. You have to be able to look after them and keep a close eye on them. There's lots of dangers in the city.
What impact do you think animals have on you?
Well, I think they make people better people, don't they? Kinder. I think they teach people compassion, because if you have an animal, you have compassion.
Do you think wild animals should live in cities?
Well, they do, don't they? I saw some foxes earlier on, and they're wild. And I guess birds are wild, aren't they? What else are wild in the city, do you think? Probably foxes are the most, are the most ones. Well, pigeons, yeah.
And loads of insects.
Loads of insects, rats, mice. Yeah, they may not be the nicest animals. Well, animals adapt, don't they? They're very adaptable. Like, the city is not the most ideal place for everyone to live in, but animals do adapt all over the world, and dogs are domesticated and they live in the cities, and they've lived in the cities for hundreds of years.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Do you have a pet?
I have a small brown monster I call a cat.
I have 3 pet cats, and they're all cats.
What impact do you think the animals have on you?
It makes me have loads of scars everywhere, but it also just makes me think life is much better with animals.
Yes. I like my cats.
I like cats.
For a while, dating back to the 14th century, animals in the city have been blamed and seen as the enemy. People have blamed rats for the Black Death.
This attitude towards urban wildlife has carried on until the present day. Some people are still squeamish when they see a mouse in their house.
But speaking to London today, it seems like most of us like animals, and surrounding ourselves with animals and wildlife have a positive impact on us.
It's not a surprise then that over half of the population in the UK own pets, and taking animals in our home to make us feel happy and not alone.
According to biologist Dr. Salisbury, it is important to understand the risks that urban wildlife poses, but it is equally valuable to understand the benefits which wildlife brings to urban areas.
Urban wildlife regulates and supports the ecosystem, and similar to the mental benefits of pets, natural green spaces and interaction with wildlife can be seen as a form of nature-based therapy.